What's up, everyone? It's Q from Retro Q Gaming, and in a bit of a kind of out of nowhere move with an interesting story, here we are. Is that Konami, who obviously have been under a lot of flack the last couple of years, but Konami own all the Hudson Soft IPs. So when you think of the old stuff like Bomberman and Bonk and all things like that, they own all those now, as of about 5 years ago. I believe it was sometime in 2011. But here's the interesting part, okay? On December 1st, 2016, just a week ago, they actually refiled a trademark patent or a trademark copyright, whatever you want to call it, for TurboGrafx. Now, it doesn't specifically list TurboGrafx 16. It's just the actual TurboGrafx pattern. So what does that mean now, or what could it mean? So it could mean several different things, basically. A couple of them being, we've already seen a couple of years ago, they have released some TurboGrafx 16 games on the Wii Virtual Console. And just a few months ago, more recently, they've added three random, well, seemingly random out of nowhere games to the TurboGrafx 16 games to the Wii U Virtual Console. So they are keeping up with that kind of stuff, but everyone is kind of wondering, what does this mean? So now that, okay, fair enough, there were third-party games for the TurboGrafx 16 slash PC engine as well, but now that Konami holds all the Hudson Soft IPs, and Hudson Soft made the TurboGrafx 16 and PC engine, same thing basically, but now that Konami owns all the IPs for that, they own the majority of the good games and the majority of the games in general. Konami also because they acquired a lot of the Hudson Soft IPs, they also had some of their own good IPs for the TurboGrafx 16 as it was. We all know there is the Castlevania Rondo of Blood, which is, it's a Castlevania game, it's a Konami game, makes perfect sense. So when it comes to all of that, what does this renewed patent mean? Well, a lot of people think their minds are straight away jumping to whatever we'll call a TurboGrafx Classic or TurboGrafx Mini or whatever you want to call it anyway. So straight away, a lot of people are just assuming that Konami are going to jump on the Mini NES bandwagon. So they could possibly release a mini TurboGrafx console. They obviously wouldn't need to put the CD attachment in there, because when you think about it, the Rondo of Blood was actually put onto the Wii Virtual Console as WiiWare on the TurboGrafx 16 side. So, there's obviously digital forms of that already accessible to people. So they can put all that stuff on there. Now, there's some good games on the TurboGrafx 16. Well, I should say, let me rephrase that. There's some games that look good and have been received well. I've never personally played a TurboGrafx 16 because it was never released over here, and they're pretty expensive to get. I have been kind of keeping my eye on them the last little while, but it's pretty expensive. So the closest I've ever done to playing a TurboGrafx 16 is actually playing a TurboGrafx 16 game on the Wii Virtual Console. So, I mean, at that point, you could almost argue it's not like playing a TurboGrafx 16 at all. But because of the TurboGrafx, you've got games like Splatterhouse, which is something I always wanted to play. I keep meaning to pick up number 2 and 3, even though they're pretty different on the Mega Drive. You've got the Bomberman series, the Bonk series. There's obviously Castlevania Rondo of Blood on there. You've got games like Devil's Crush, R-Type, of course, R-Type being pretty much legendary. So you get the idea. There's a pretty good wealth of games that they could release on the TurboGrafx if they were to do a mini version with all the stuff just kind of, let's say 30 games, throw them on there just NES style, and that'd be good to go. So, that's a very real potential issue, or not even issue, but outcome. But to be honest, what's most likely the case there's 3 scenarios. One of them being the mini TurboGrafx. The other two, one of them which is most likely the case, would be they're just renewing them for the sake of renewing the copyright, because these things run out and they need to eventually do something with them, or they need to renew the copyrights. On top of all that, what's also a very real possibility is they're just renewing it so they can release games on the virtual consoles. I know they've done it just in the past pretty recently, as well as a bit longer ago, as I mentioned, on the Wii virtual console. And allegedly, I haven't seen this myself, but allegedly the 3DS in Japan has a handful of PC Engine games on it, because PC Engine is just the name of the TurboGrafx in Japan. So it's most likely one of those two, but you never know. Now, when it comes to Konami, who hold all the rights and to the IPs and the brands and all to this nowadays, sure, Konami get a lot of stick, and they don't seem to be too focused in the console market. Or now, when I say the console market, I mean in games for home consoles, games for mobile consoles, because they have a pachinko business which makes them billions of dollars a year. So I mean, it's kind of understandable, and they get a lot of flack lately for the whole Kojima thing and all that too. But at the same time, without Konami, there would be no Metal Gear Solid. There would be no Metal Gear even. I'll even just go with Metal Gear. There'd be no Silent Hill, there'd be no Castlevania, there'd be no Suikoden, there'd be no Contra, no Zone of the Enders. The list goes on. So you can hate on Konami all they want. Their contribution to gaming history is still enormous. So it could go either way with all of this. So at that point, let's see what it is. Do you think, let me know in the comment section below, do you think we're going to get a mini TurboGrafx 16? I know I would import that in a heartbeat. Chances are it wouldn't be released here in Europe, or if it did, it would probably only be released in France. But I would import one from America or Japan in a heartbeat. Definitely would. Would absolutely love it. Absolutely. So let me know if you think we're going to get one of those. If you think it's just renewing the patent or renewing the copyright just to keep it active for themselves. Or let me know if you think it's going to be just to start releasing more virtual console games or on some other service. Or maybe, who knows, maybe we'll get a downloadable collection, or an Xbox collection or a PlayStation collection or something. Anyway, that's it. Let me know all that in the comment section below. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. You can follow me on Twitter, details in the description below. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the rest of the videos in my channel while we anxiously wait to see what Konami does with this renewed copyright.